Perrie, what are some of the steps or recommendations that you would give to someone in terms of delegation of tasks?
Take the ego out, number one. Number two is read a book by Dan Martell called Buy Back Your Time. And then once you finish that book, read another book called Who, Not How. Those two books are going to tell you exactly how to buy back your time using a simple 10-80-10 rule, which is basically, look, here's my 10%. I want you to get this done. The person you're delegating will finish the 80%. You come back and you do the 10%. I learned that from Dan Martell. And the reason why I love that so much is because you don't have to fully step away. Because how many times have I fully stepped away from something that I've assigned and then I get it? I'm like, what the hell is this? So I think people are a little worried about that. So that's why you have to be a little bit more involved, especially in the beginning. But you have to trust people. Look, anybody, I know people talk about this, but this is friggin' true. Anybody who says, my client only wants to work with me, that's bullshit. They might have said that, but you also haven't shown the value of the team that you've basically produced. So we introduce everybody in the listing presentation. I point out each realtor and what they're good at, with what their expertise are. I go with with Crystal, who's the listing senior specialist, and Crystal and I will tee her up and be like, this is who you'll be working with on an ongoing basis. And I think leaders are just a little too scared to do that. But you read those two books, it's going to tell you everything you need to know on how to exit that role so that you can focus on growth. Buying back your time is not buying back time so you can go sit on a damn beach or go snowboarding or go skateboarding or go golfing. I do all those things. It's about buying back your time so you can focus on the growth of the company that you started.
I think the checking your ego at the door thing is that if you can get that in check, that was one of the lessons that I had to learn when I was first building my team was it isn't all about you, because the more you boost yourself, the more people want you. So you need to be comfortable boosting your team and making sure that people feel comfortable working with them. And I think that that's one of the biggest things at the beginning when you're hiring people is you're scared to let go because you feel like I'm losing something or I'm making it seem like I'm not as valuable, where it's like, no. The thing that you've built is the most valuable. It's like, I'm trained. This person has been trained under me for 3 years. Like you're good. Absolutely. You are good.
Yeah.
And I think people are scared to let that go.
I agree. But I mean, for me, it was just obvious. Like for me, it almost came from a place of laziness. I'm like, I want to grow the company, but I don't want to be meeting all the buyers and sellers every single day and dealing with the problems and the issues and all of that. I want to just kind of, here's the client, run it, let's firm it up, let's get it closed, let's provide amazing service, and let's move on to the next. And that's how that's what I'm doing. And that's how I always envisioned it. And it's working really well.
I love that you had a vision and you've built it, because I think so many people struggle to they have that vision and they actually struggle to get there. Is there anything in particular that, like, you talked a lot about having routines and habits. Is there anything in particular that you do regularly to like check your business and make sure that like it's on track or it's still on pace to be the business you want it to be and the business that you said you envisioned in 2019?
Yeah, for sure. So I think the main thing is we have our leadership meetings Monday morning every week at 9:30, where we have a snapshot of the previous week in terms of results. What about the goals that we set out to do? How are those actions coming? What do we have coming up for marketing, recruiting, and events? And we review that every single week. And in terms of, what I do personally without them is I go through a lot of our profit and loss and I just kind of see where we can find holes. And, unfortunately in the real estate game, it's really tough to find holes because a lot of those expenses are justified, right?
Check out our YouTube or Spotify channel and don't forget to subscribe.